Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. Tonight we're here for the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and I'm joined by my colleague, the Honorable Hank Johnson, who hails from the great state of Georgia. We are the Progressive Caucus, and we're here week after week, month after month, to help the American people understand that the progressive community throughout America has a group of people in Congress who are willing to stand up and stand strong and project a progressive vision for all the nation. The Progressive Caucus has designed something we call the progressive message. And so this is what we do. We come together and we talk about our progressive vision for our country. We started off only a few weeks ago talking about the need to hold the executive accountable and to not simply write things that happened the past 8 years under the rug. Then we came back last week to talk about the economy and the stimulus package. And because we're facing a rising unemployment rate, foreclosure rate that is increasing, because people are losing their jobs, because things are getting tougher every day, we've got to stick with this issue of the economy so that we can talk to people about which way forward, what do we do, what is the progressive message to help America go forward. If the gentleman yields back, Congressman Johnson, we are the progressives. We want progress. And if you say you're a conservative, what over the past 8 years do you want to conserve? Do you want to conserve these exploding unemployment rates they've handed to us? Do you want to conserve this war in Iraq and Afghanistan? Maybe you want to conserve this regime of deregulation, which has allowed businesses, and particularly in the financial sector, to do whatever they want and not have to worry about consumers. Is that what you're trying to conserve? The fact is, the people of America don't want conservatism. They want a progressive vision. They're looking at things like I have up on this graph right here. They're looking at Minnesota. We have an unemployment rate in 2008 of 6.9%. Last year, in 2007, it was 4.7%. In California, they're looking at 9.3% unemployment this year, 5.9% the year before. What about our colleagues from Michigan, Congressman Johnson? We got a serious problem. The question is, if you look at these high unemployment rates and you look at every blue line is 2007, every red line is 2008, as you can tell, unemployment is up all across the nation, everywhere. These things did not happen by accident. They are the product of a set of policies, many of which were promulgated right in this gallery you are in and I are in right now. Many of the policies saying that poor people have too much money and rich people don't have enough money, promulgated right here. Tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. No accountability. As a matter of fact, it was put into legislation that the whole credit default swap market would be excluded from regulation, and now we know that these derivative products cause so much risk in the system that we don't know what to do about it. The fact is, the policies and the procedures that have brought this about were done right here during the last 8 years, and we now are going to project a progressive vision to get us out of it. Let me just say this before I turn it over to you, Congressman. America has suffered 11 straight months of joblessness, of increasing job losses, totaling more than 2 million in the last year. 1.3 million jobs lost in the last 3 months alone. The job losses totaled over 500,000 in November, the biggest one-month jump in 34 years. Now that's serious business. I want to thank Congressman Johnson and you, Congressman McDermott, for coming here today, because what you're talking about is not just dealing with the immediate situation. We're not saying, well, we're on the Titanic, let's put the deck chairs over there. No, let's move them back over there. We are projecting a progressive vision for our nation. We are saying we're going this way. And that's why we're here with the progressive message today. I just want to remind people, we're here with the Progressive Caucus projecting a progressive message, talking about economic prosperity for all Americans. We've talked about unemployment, and Congressman Johnson and I had a great dialogue, and then when you came, Congressman McDermott, we began an important conversation about how health care has a vital role to play in the economic health of a family and a nation. I think we pointed out When General Mills spends more money on health care than it does on steel, we got a problem. When Starbucks spends more money on health care than it does on coffee beans, we got a problem. Both things are true. It's time to move forward. Medical debt being one of the major drivers in bankruptcy. You know, this is the time is now to begin universal health care, and signing the S-chip, I believe, was the beginning of good times to come. Well, Congressman, you and I joined together in thanking Congressman McDermott, who did such a great job. But on your point, I just want to say, you know, it's too bad that the Senate proposed to cut the provisions on HIV and STD treatment, because it is stimulative. We would be hiring people who would go out into these schools and talk to young people about the importance of proper sexual health, of respecting their bodies and respecting other people, understanding the medical situation that arises when you are irresponsible, when you are unlucky enough to be infected with these horrendous diseases, which are preventable if you know what you're talking about, if you are well armed with good information. It's really too bad, and that's one of the reasons why we have to come here, Congressman, because, you know, we're not here, we're not an extension of the Obama administration. We love the fact that he signed S-chip today. Go for it, President Obama. But if it ever comes a time when we don't agree, we'll be here saying that. And so it's critical today that you bring out differences that we have with the Senate package, because it's our job to project a progressive vision, right? And if you want to know, and if folks want to know how to reach us with their progressive vision, they can send their ideas to this email at the bottom of this this document here. But I didn't really want to interrupt you, but I just thought it would be an important time to say, don't expect the Progressive Caucus to come to the House floor saying thumbs up to everybody. Expect the Progressive Caucus to say that we agree with some things, we don't agree with others. We're projecting a progressive vision that includes all Americans, that says all Americans should have health, all Americans should have civil rights, all Americans should have a shared economic prosperity. And so forgive me for that interruption, but you inspired me for a moment.